Issue.
I'll let her know. I know, we do. Right? You're fine.
I gotta get my glasses.
From that. I mean, I think. You know, so, you know, we just, that's what we're trying to do, is get the direct care. So we got here. We're operating. I mean, yeah, everybody's going on. Yeah.
How you doing this morning?
Thank you, Lord. Thank you.
Please send me that number. Okay.
Oh.
Not nearly as bad as Magellan.
Oh, okay, I'm good.
But, like, living in Southern we went to that, within the first 4 years building the house together.
You get in trouble.
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to our general fund. I'm sorry for running a little bit late. That wasn't our fault, but we'll, anyway. Let's go ahead and call the roll.
Senator Albritton,
Here.
Senator Chambliss, Senator Beasley, Senator Coleman, Senator Coleman-Madison, Senator Elliott,
Here.
Senator Gavan,
Here.
Senator Jones, Senator Kelly, Senator Livingston, Senator Orr, Senator Price,
Here.
Senator Shonut, Senator Stewart, Senator Stutz, Senator Weaver.
15 present, we have a quorum. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen, for attending and for your interest. Today's agenda, we have 9 bills. 5 of them deal with the general fund. We'll deal with those first, and then we have 4 additional bills that we'll deal with after that. So if the clerk would call the first bill.
SB 70, Senator Albritton.
Thank you. SB 70, this is the first bill from the, consists of the budget package. This is the Coalition Against Domestic Violence Appropriation. We have a motion. We have a motion. We have a second. Let's call roll.
Senator Albritton,
Aye.
Senator Chambliss, Senator Beasley, Senator Coleman, Senator Coleman-Madison, Senator Elliott, Senator Gavan,
Aye.
Senator Jones, Senator Kelly, Senator Livingston, Senator Orr, Senator Price, Senator Shonut, Senator Stewart, Senator Stutz, Senator Weaver.
Did you not know? I got it. You just never talked. Bill's given a favorable report. Thank you. Call the next bill.
SB 69, Senator Albritton.
Thank you. Children's First Trust Fund appropriations for the fiscal year. Again, common second one. We have a motion for favorable. We have a second. Senator Kelly. Any discussion? Any objection to previous roll? No objection. Bill's given a favorable report. Call the next bill, please.
SB 68, Senator Albritton.
SB 68, this is one of the favorites. State employees' cost of living increase. This is, how many years in a row we've done this now?
Second.
There would be an argument about that, Senator Elliott. Anyway, we have a motion for favorable. We have a second from Senator Kelly. Any discussion? Any objection to previous roll? No objection. Bill's given a favorable report. Thank you. Call the next bill.
SB 67, Senator Albritton.
Thank you. Senate Bill 67. This is the big one. This is the general fund budget that has been presented. What you have before you first is the budget that came over from the governor. Last evening, I sent out a sub to all members of the committee, and we also have a paper copy now on desk for your review and discussion if you choose. The biggest difference I can tell you between this, not between the sub and this, the governor's budget, but the biggest difference in my mind is the limited number of changes that have occurred historically. There's been very few changes involved with this. There's been communications back and forth over a long time frame, though there have been some changes, and we have made some additions involved with this and some swapping arounds. I trust everyone's had an opportunity to take a look at where we are and such. Any discussions? We have a motion for favorable.
I have one question.
Yes. Well, first off, do we have a second? We have a second, Senator Livingston. Senator Coleman Madison, you have a question.
Thank you. I just wanted to ask, that was an item dealing with dental care for handicap and the indigent. It was a small amount, item 1662. I don't remember what.
Was that, are you talking about the spreadsheet?
Yeah.
Okay. Or the budget?
This is-
I think you're talking about the budget there, I believe. Are you talking about the sub or are you talking about the budget itself?
This is on SB 67? I guess this is a part of this
All right.
spreadsheet.
What's the line item?
1662. It was a small amount, and I'm just, is this statewide that we are trying to?
I think you're on the original bill because 1662 on the sub.
Huh? Yeah, dental services project for handicap indigent care is $50,000. So, and I'm just wondering, is this statewide?
Yes, it is. I'm
Is
sorry.
that
Yes.
correct?
There has been no change on that, was there? Yeah, there was no change on that between the sub or anything that's been there for a number of years.
And
statewide.
that's my question. It's been there for a number of years, and I'm just, it's a small amount, seems like. I'm just wondering if there's a possibility of doing a bump up on that to
Well,
help.
this came from the Medicaid agency itself.
This is what they request?
Yes,
Well, maybe they have some other sources that I don't know about. Okay,
very likely.
okay, thank you.
Yes, ma'am.
Mr. Chairman, my motion needs to be for adoption of the sub, not
Correct.
favorable.
I follow that. I should have been more specific, but yes. That's that same? Okay. All right. Any other discussion or questions? None? All right. We have a motion to adopt the sub. We have a second. Any objection to using previous roll? No objection? Sub's adopted. So now we're on the sub. We have a motion for favorable. We have a second for that.
Mr. Chairman,
Senator Jones.
so as we had discussed a couple of issues, as I skimmed through the bill late last night, I did not see those taken care of, so I want to come talk with you.
You're welcome to
a
come
little more
discuss
in
that.
depth.
I would welcome the opportunity, Senator.
So for right now, I'm going to need to be marked as an abstention on the budget.
All right.
Thank you.
Thank you. Any other discussions? Any objection to using the previous roll with the single abstention? 2 abstentions? Okay. You 2? All right, 3 abstentions. Let's take a long roll. All right. Let's take a long roll on the adoption or the favorable approval for the sub.
You know, we probably all have the question that Senator Jones has down there. We'll all come and talk.
Well, let's take a long roll and see where we are. All right?
Senator Albritton?
Aye.
Senator Chambliss?
Aye.
Senator Beasley? Senator Coleman? Senator Coleman Madison? Senator Elliott? Senator Govan?
Abstain.
Senator Jones? Senator Kelly? Senator Livingston?
Aye.
Senator Orr? Senator Price?
We need.
Senator Shonut? Senator Stewart?
Aye, but we have to.
Senator Stutz?
Aye.
Senator Weaver?
Ten ayes, 4 abstentions, so the bill is given a favorable report. Thank you. And those of you who wish to have discussions, I'll be around all day. Call the next bill.
SB 66, Senator Albritton.
This 66 is the supplemental that was sent over by the governor. We have a substitute also that was sent out last evening and also has been handed out this morning on your desk. Do we have any discussion on the bill itself? Any discussion or any objection, or do I have a motion on the sub? We have a motion for adoption of the sub. We have a second by Senator Chambliss. Any objection to using, you want to do a long roll on this or long roll? Okay. This is for the adoption of the sub.
Senator Albritton?
Aye.
Senator Chambliss? Aye. Senator Beasley? Senator Coleman? Senator Coleman Madison? Senator Elliott? Senator Govan?
Aye.
Senator Jones?
Aye.
Senator Kelly? Senator Livingston? Senator Orr? Senator Price? Senator Shonut? Senator Stewart? Senator Stutz? Senator Weaver? Senator Coleman?
We have 14 ayes and 1 abstention, so we have adopted the sub. Any discussion on the sub? We have a motion to adopt this, give the sub a favorable report. We have a second, Senator Coleman Madison. Any further discussion? Any objection to using previous roll? No objection. Bill's given a favorable report. Thank you. That completes, at least for this morning, the discussion on our budgets. So let's call the next bill.
SB 230, Senator Albritton.
Thank you. This is an interesting legal matter. Is there someone here that would like to talk about this particular matter from the audience? I'm sure we have several people that are interested. What this bill does, ladies and gentlemen, is it creates a piece of property rights underground. It deals with empty cavities already existing whereby CO2 may be stored. There's been lots of discussion on that, and I have an amendment to present if there's any further questions or anything involved with that. Senator Smitherman, you have a question?
Did you say that if someone had comments from here that they could, or you just, I misunderstood you guys?
I'm inviting, I know there's people in the audience that have questions or interest in here. I think 2 of them just moved forward. But if you have one, Senator, you're always welcome to come up.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I didn't come in here for this case, for this one, but being a lawyer, what happens to the person who already has mineral rights?
It doesn't affect the mineral rights. We've put language in here, and I believe we can have some, the intent here is that we do not disturb existing mineral rights in any way.
But if they own this property and, like you said, these cavities, they may not know that this gas is in these cavities, when it's discovered, do they do they retain, because they own the property, that mineral right, or do they lose it under this bill? Somebody is coming in and get it, or what's it?
And in fact, I can invite Mr. Tu. Would you like to address that for a moment? You're chairman of the Oil and Gas Board, is that correct?
Well, I'm the director of the staff with the Oil and Gas Board.
Okay, I was close.
Nick Tu from Tuscaloosa.
Yes, sir.
I'm not a lawyer, so the property rights part of this is probably not as much in my wheelhouse as the geology part of this, which I do understand very well. But it's my understanding that this bill will in no way change the mineral ownership, or the two estates will still exist, the surface estate, which has the pore space, and then the mineral estate, which has the mineral ownership, and those will not be changed by this bill.
Okay, all right. Thank you. Does that answer your question, Senator Smitherman?
It answers it, but it doesn't, you know what I mean? I think you've been a lawyer, you know what I'm talking about. It doesn't go to the root, but it is a good answer. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Now, because of that question, that particular question, and others has come up, we have an amendment that's on your desk here. It is a 2-paragraph amendment. And it's dealing with the considering approval of a storage facility to be used for the storage and sequestration of CO2. Pursuant to this division, the board shall consider any competing rights of any separately owned estates and lands potentially affected by the storage facility, giving due consideration of competing rights as to existing or future uses of pore space, surface, or mineral owners that may be affected. Other than as may regard a claim to an ownership interest in pore space, nothing in this division shall be construed to change, alter, diminish, or in any way affect the statutory or common law as of October 1, 2024, as it relates to the rights belonging to surface and mineral estates. That's the intent there.
Move adoption of the amendment.
We have a motion and a second. Any further discussion on the amendment? Let's go ahead and take a long roll on the amendment.
Senator Albritton?
Aye.
Senator Chambliss? Senator Beasley? Senator Coleman? Senator Coleman Madison?
Aye.
Senator Elliott? Senator Gavan?
Aye.
Senator Jones? Senator Kelly? Senator Livingston? Senator Orr? Senator Price? Senator Shonut? Senator Stewart? Senator Stutz? Senator Weaver?
15 ayes, the amendment's adopted. We're now on the bill as amended. Any further discussion? I will make note that there continues to be discussions and concerns as to the particular language. We may get those worked out before we get this to the floor. We hope so. The intent is to, when we bring this to the floor, all that will be resolved, okay? With that, if there's no objection to using previous roll, well, first off, I need to do we have a motion? A motion and a second on the adoption of the bill as amended. Any objection to previous roll? No objection, then we'll use the previous roll. The bill has received favorable report. Thank you. Call the next bill.
SB 170, Senator Melson.
Senator Melson, how are you today, sir?
I'm well. Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I hope you're well.
Me too.
This is the bill that I presented. I'm not sure how long ago now, but it was carried over. It was the reimbursement for transporting inmates from one facility hadn't been adjusted for like 68 years. And I believe you were going to get with Mr. Hillman, and did y'all come to?
We have not, haven't seen or heard from Mr. Hillman, but I wanted to give your bill an opportunity here. The biggest difference here, ladies and gentlemen, is that this bill, it does need to be adjusted. What was the 10 cents per mile and some a very, very low figure extradition cost? It needs to be adjusted. The difficulty is that the amount of the change is huge when it looks as percentage, and we don't have, I don't know if that we've got a very good fiscal note on it either.
I can tell you, Mr. Chairman.
Yes, sir.
2023, Lee County was reimbursed $3,800. So 10 cents, 5 times that roughly would be 15,000 to 20,000. And that's one example. Mobile County got 8,500 for reimbursement over right around 300 inmates. Madison County, they had to go to a private courier because it wasn't cost effective taking sheriff's deputies off duty to transport and things like that. Got cost prohibitive when they were only getting 10 cents a mile. I'd be glad to, if it gets a favorable report, get with you and Mr. Hillman and figure out a substitute value or amendment value that makes it more in line with something that you're comfortable with.
I would appreciate that, and I again, I know and I see the need that on this. I would like to have some other methodology of handling this on a step basis or something along that line to gauge this a little better. But at this point, I'll leave this to the body how you want to handle this. I would like to have had something a little more on this, but we're in now the 19th today, and we need to start moving things along if we're going to. But I would like a commitment that we won't bring this to the floor until we have some other additional information and or agreements on what we're doing.
You'll have that from me.
All right. We have a motion and a second. Comment?
Yes, thank you, Mr. Chair. Just as you all are researching or trying to get this bill where it should be, even the blanket $100 may not even be enough depending on how far someone is traveling. So just, as you're doing that, you mentioned a step process or something to where folks are actually made whole, if that is the intent of this piece of legislation.
We'll do our, while we're trying to make folks whole on this, we also don't want to create a hole. So,
Mr. Chairman, I would say that we know we're not going to get them to where they want to be, but like Lee County got $15.20 per transfer, and we all know that's not near enough in this day and time to even cover the gas probably. So I will get with you if we give a favorable report, and I'll make sure that we all can find a comfort level that's probably going to be uncomfortable for some people, but something's better than nothing. That's kind of like a doctor in the hospital. Getting Medicaid's better than nothing, but it still doesn't make you happy at 2 a.m. So I'll be glad to get with you and
thank you for that. We have a motion and a second. Any objection to previous roll? No objection. Bill's given a favorable report. Thank you, Senator Melton.
Thank you.
Senator Sessions. Are we ready for this? I thought there was going to be an amendment ready or something like that.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. No, we are not. So, and actually, we're really kind of waiting on the House bill. I know there's dealing with taxation and revenue. I was told that it needs to be a House bill.
Okay.
So, Mr. Chairman,
what would you like us to do with this today?
I think this probably just needs to be carried over.
Motion to carry over?
House bill.
We got a motion and second. All in favor say aye. Thank you, Senator.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. But
just trying to move things along a little more as we can.
Hope we get the House bill up here before the session ends.
Senator Stutz.
I'd like to ask you a question as you're negotiating with them on the House bill. Have you, and rather than an absolute cap, have y'all discussed possibly just tying it to some inflation index?
Like the CPI?
Yeah, CPI or something so that, tying the property tax increase to inflation
I would
instead of it being arbitrary?
No. I would think that would be a good way of doing it, but I don't think the folks that are receiving the money would be real happy with that.
People that are paying it would.
Well, I certainly understand that, and like other legislation, hopefully we can come to a happy median somewhere. So thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you.
Thank you, Senator Stutz.
Call the next bill.
HB 275, Representative Allman.
Representative Allman, how are you?
I am doing well, thank you. Thank you, sir. This is actually Senator Smitherman's bill that's already made its way through the Senate. It came to the House and it got changed a little bit. And for a variety of reasons, it's coming back through the Senate. And to show you what seniority is, he told me to get up here and handle his bill. So, so here I am. This is just an update to our existing indigent defense bill. The main difference between his original version and the House version is the fiscal note has been reduced a little bit. We have some lower caps on the amount of money, total amount of money that lawyers can charge for their services.
All right. Any other questions? Senator Beasley?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Representative, do you mind giving me an explanation of what you just said?
An explanation of what about the caps? Yeah. So currently...
Dollar amounts.
The dollar amounts. So when the bill was introduced, from that time to what you're seeing in my bill today, the total fiscal note has been reduced in that the caps, the total amount of money that a lawyer can charge for their services for their appointment the caps has been reduced. Well, there's a variety of caps. They're in the bill, just depending on what who you're representing and what the charge is. So there's different caps for different types of charges.
The rates were not changed. It was simply that the caps all across the board of various ways was reduced to another figure. Is that accurate?
Some rates were changed, some rates were reduced, but the caps are so for example, if you are appointed to represent somebody charged with capital murder, there is no total amount of money. There's no cap for that. The new rate, the old rate was $70 an hour. The new rate is $120 an hour. For Class A felonies, the old rate that you were paid is $70 an hour. The new rate is $100 an hour, and there's a total cap. You cannot charge more than $6,000 for your representation, no matter how many hours you spend on it, unless you get special permission from the judge. They tried to particularly increase the more serious crimes, capital murder, Class A felony, Class B felonies, and then reduce some hourly rates for the lower level crimes.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Senator Smitherman, are you okay with what these are?
I am, Mr. Chairman, and I just want to just add to I looked up on the panel and I started smiling because I said, all I got to say is one question, is that it ain't a lawyer sitting up there that make less than $350 an hour. I want y'all to know that. It ain't one of them less than $350. So you can see that you're going to have a hard time getting lawyers to go to deal with these indigent cases at even the $120 an hour. But you definitely are not going to be able to get people on the $70 and the caps unless you get somebody that's 2 days out of law school that don't even know what they're doing at that moment. So it's a necessity the courts need it, and it strengthens the process of review. For instance, it says that stronger mechanisms for the director of the Office of Indigent Service to refer review of indigent defense services, and automatic review provision, and authority for indigent defense advisory boards to order remedial action if necessary. So it strengthens the process as well.
Senator Gavan.
Well, I know at least one of my clients needs to give me a raise based upon what the senator said, but and I know a lot of good lawyers that make less than $350 an hour, especially in certain fields. But I don't know how these people do what they do. We don't pay them enough. There's no way I'd do it, and so I move favorable report.
We have a motion and a second. Any discussion? Senator.
Thank you, and definitely 100% in support of this legislation. I did just though have a question just on the reduction. As you said, Senator, I mean, you and I have been on some cases in the same court before, and I don't even think we should have reduced if we could have helped reduce them. When I took these cases, and I don't take any more of them, but even when I'm looking at a juvenile dependency case that's capped at $5,000, on those kinds of cases, you can spend hours and hours and hours and on just the discovery portion alone with a DHR. I had one where the DHR file was across the wall. And so I just wish there was a way for us to not reduce as we're increasing in other areas. And I guess I'm just saying that for the record, because I also know that there's a budgetary issue as well.
We had to, with the both houses, we went and picked up Webster's dictionary and looked in it. And they said politics is the art of compromise. So that's what this is, the art of compromise with the house.
We have a motion and a second. Any objection to previous roll? No objection. We'll use the previous roll. Bill's given a favorable report. That concludes our agenda. We stand adjourned. Thank you.
Thank you, members and Mr. Chairman. Thank you.
I saw that.
Thank you, my friend.
My son does a lot of the energy work, and they are totally underpaid.
Hey, you know what we said back behind?
I'm gonna tell you, dependency cases. Because we're talking about taking somebody's child away from them.
Yeah.
You want to make sure that you do your. You spend so much time on like when I